If you want to write things like this and you are left-handed, make sure you stay until the end of this video, because in this video, I'm going to be going through what supplies to use for pointed pen calligraphy, how to hold the pen, how to prep your nib, and everything you need to start doing calligraphy with your left hand. And I will also show you exactly how I do my calligraphy. First, let's talk about supplies. There's basically 4 things that you need. You need a pen holder, a nib, ink, and paper. So let's talk about these in detail. If you go to any arts and crafts store or a specialized art store, or you can even buy this online, you need to get a straight pen holder. So at the store, you'll probably find something like this or this, and you'll see in here that you can insert a nib right in here. Now, what you don't want is a oblique pen holder that has a thing on the side like this. This is for right-handed people to use, for them to adjust the nib angle. Left-handed people don't need this. So we just need a straight pen holder like this. Now for nibs, the best beginner nib is a Nico G nib. It is a nib that is pretty firm. And if you can't find a Nico G nib anywhere, then other options that are similar are Tachikawa G nibs and Zebra G nibs. So out of those 3, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find them somewhere. And I've also linked these supplies in the description box, so you can check it out if you want to buy it online. Now, the next thing you need is ink. There are a ton of different kinds of ink. The specific one I'm using in this video is the Speedball India ink. Now, I know this is a huge bottle, but you can get a small version of it at most arts and crafts stores, and I've just poured some of it into this bottle. There's a ton of different brands of ink as well, so you can go to the art store and kind of see what you like. And also the ink and paper pairing is important, because sometimes if the paper is too porous, like normal printing paper, it's not going to work with the ink. But let's say you have some kind of ink that is more gooey or gel-like, like this Dr. P.H. Martin gold ink, then it can work on regular printer paper or just regular cardstock. So in terms of paper, my favorite for beginners is actually just like any Rhodia pad. If you don't have access to Rhodia pads, then you can look into marker paper or Bristol board or watercolor paper. Another great paper to use is the HP LaserJet Premium 32-pound printer paper. So this is good if you want to print some worksheets. And 2 other things you'll need are tissue or paper towel. Actually, a kitchen paper towel is the best because tissue fibers might get stuck in the nib. And you just need some water. Now, before we start doing anything with the ink, you need to prep your nib. So there are several ways you can prep your nib. I've already prepped my nib by scrubbing the nib with hand soap and a toothbrush. And I did this for about 2 minutes. You can use toothpaste, dish detergent, just kind of like any soap that will get rid of oil. Because when you buy the nib, the manufacturer actually puts a layer of oil on the nib so that it stays in a good condition, and I think it helps it with not rusting. Some other ways you can prep your nib are with your saliva, and also you can stick it into a potato for 10 to 15 minutes, but don't leave it in longer than 15 minutes. So once you've prepped your nib, you can put your nib into your pen holder like this, like that. Open up your ink, and you can start by positioning your paper just straight in front of you. Depending on how you hold your pen, this is probably the best place to put your paper for left-handed people who are just trying out pointed pen calligraphy. But there are I've seen other left-handed people kind of like position their paper in other ways. But just to start off, I think this is a great place to put it. And then the way to hold the pen is, so don't hold it like a normal pen like this, but use your 2 fingers to pinch the pen, and then I put all my other fingers underneath. And I like to have my index finger right on top of the nib, but on the pen holder. So on the pen holder, but where the nib is. So it's kind of like lined up. And this helps with just like adding pressure to the pen. So I like to have my index finger here. Now, what you're going to do is dip your pen into your ink, and then you're going to kind of like wipe your ink on the side of the jar. So I usually just do this 2 times. 1, 2, 1, 2 on each side, because we don't want extra ink on the nib. So in terms of positioning, you want to have your pen holder about 45 degrees from the paper. And then if you look here, you see my thick lines, right? You want to have your pen holders parallel to the thick lines, because that's basically how you make the thick lines. Your pen has to go down, the nib will open up, and that's how you make your thick line like that. Also, what you want to pay attention to is that when you're writing, that the nib doesn't go sideways like this or like that. You want it to be kind of straight, so not sideways like this. So there's 3 angles to pay attention to. There's this angle, so making sure when you do your thick line, it's parallel to the thick line. It's on the same line. The pen to table angle should be about 45 degrees. And then you want to make sure that this is straight. So you're not rotating your hand like that. So you can start off by practicing some of the basic strokes. So we have our downstroke, our upstroke. Now with upstrokes, you really don't want to put a lot of pressure. So I'm barely pressing on the page. I'm just letting it slide. Just pretend your hand is like a feather. There should be no resistance. If you feel any resistance on the paper, then you are pressing way too hard. So I'm going to dip it, dab, 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 and then we'll try some other basic strokes. So underturn, overturn, like that. I do have a more in-depth video about basic strokes, so you can check it out. I'll link it in the description box. You have your compound curve. And every couple of strokes or letters, I will dip it again, because if you don't, you'll get train tracks like this. You see how there's no ink inside? You can fix it just by coloring it in like that. So ascending loop, descending loop. We'll do some ovals. Okay, and I didn't have enough ink right there. Once you've practiced the basic strokes, you can then move on to practicing your letters. So A, I'm just going to do the alphabet. Okay, so I butchered the X. It's supposed to be like this. W, X. Should have been like that, but I went the wrong way. So that is the X. Don't feel discouraged if you are having some problems with the angles and the ink. It does take some time to get used to, but once you've done some practice, then congratulations, you can do calligraphy and you can do words. So let's write some words. Love. Hello. And there you go. And when you're ready to put your stuff away, you can dab your nib into your water and then just wipe it gently with your paper towel. You might have to do it a couple times if the ink has dried. That. And there you go. It's a clean nib. I hope this video was useful. Let me know in the comments if you are left-handed or right-handed and trying to learn calligraphy. And I do want to mention that I have a more in-depth equipment and supplies list for if you want to get started learning calligraphy and then building a calligraphy business. And I've left that in the description box below. If you're looking for more calligraphy tutorial videos, then make sure you check out this video and then also this video right here. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.